Hello everyone, Tipper 47 here, today flying in War Thunder once again. Today flying the Junkers 88 A-4, and I was like, I'm gonna make a small tutorial on how to fly a bomber. Today flying over Malta in historical battle. Hope you enjoy. And the very first thing you need to learn about bombing is of course the bombing site, you know. This is the absolute basic way of bombing, and of course the most safest way to bomb. High altitude, drop a few bombs on target. Using the sight, you press F7. It's the basic way of bombing, and the position is pretty good if you can keep it on the target, of course. There's another way of doing it. For example, here it's not the ideal plane for doing this, but for example with the Stuka, of course, this is the ideal way of bombing. Dive bombing, drop a few bombs, and there we go. It's very precise, but it's also risky, and you might overload your plane and completely destroy it. So that's two very good ways of bombing. And of course, when you dive, get back up, use the speed you gain down towards the target, get back up, get away from the fighters. So I went back out over the water, gained some altitude. I'm still gaining a little bit, and you see there's targets ahead now. And I'm gonna, just keep it steady towards the target. And in a second I'm gonna switch to the bomb side at the F7 button you get on there. And you can see I'm slowly just sliding towards the target. It's very simple, and it's, as I said, the easiest way to do it. Slowly, just aiming, just adjusting a little bit. If you don't make too harsh moves with that sight, it's gonna mess it up. So slowly adjusting and dropping bombs. There we go. And you see there's one more target coming up. And dropping bombs. It's the best way of doing this, of course, especially in the arcade battles. If you see a big column, for example, line it up and doing it like this is a very good way of dealing with it. And you see the good hit on that one. So you see there's artillery over here as well. Slowly adjusting the plane back around. Use the time you have to get there to adjust the plane. But as you see, you can't aim with the bomb sight if you do while you're doing maneuvers. So again, it might be more efficient to do another way of dealing with these targets, which of course could be the dive. For example, here, just going down, gaining the speed, getting closer to the target, and drops the bombs. Use the speed again to get up, as I said before. As long as you keep up high, you might avoid the fighters, which is what we want, especially in this plane. It does not have the best protection. There's other bombers who will have a lot more protection. The Junkers is lightly armored, and it does not have a lot of protection. Anyway, now last technique I haven't showed you yet is one I see most often people using in arcade battles. It's a risky one. You go down fast and you just drop the bombs while you're in speed. Of course, make sure you get down so you're gonna hit a few a lot of targets in line when you get back down like this. If you get a lot of targets, and then use the speed to get back up and away fast, because especially in arcade battles you're gonna have someone behind you now and they're gonna start hunting you. So it's very important to keep using the speed. Don't start turning around and stuff like that. Use the speed to get away and then turn later on, if, for example, if you're moving away from your own base or something like that. Now that actually went pretty well. Of course, sometimes you will get more targets, sometimes you won't. It will be different from map to map how the enemy ground forces are lined up. But one important thing you need to know how to do is to, of course, to land the bomber itself afterwards. Because, for example, here in historical battles, it won't reload. in air, so you have to get back down. So it's important to learn that, and it's not that hard, you know. Just take your time, don't rush it. Slowly find your route towards the airfield, and you know, slowly just get the speed down and get the flaps out. You know, they do that on the F button, and you know, adjust the speed. Don't get too, you know, don't do it too fast, and don't do it too slow, of course, because you're gonna end up in the water in this case. So use the flaps and adjust. Look at my speed up there in the left top corner. You can see I'm constantly adjusting a little bit. And of course, when you get closer, or I prefer to do so myself, get the landing gear out. You can get it out, you know, before this, but you might risk it to you know, ruin it because of if you're having too high speed. So therefore I always do it now, just before getting down on the ground. And again, adjusting a lot on the speed here to make sure it gets down perfectly. And it's very simple. Flaps out, adjust speed, gear out. And after I've done this a few times, you will get the hang of it. So, when you get touchdown, use B for braking the plane, and you should be back on the ground and be ready to rearm and go back up. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please hit that like button and subscribe. Bye bye.